Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
Je ne peux pas parler français.
And I'm Gary, and today we're going to review and discuss Martyrs, which released in 2008 from writer-director Pascal Laugier. Ian, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows two young women, Lucy and Anna. Lucy has grown up with a traumatizing childhood and has taken her aggression out on a family. Her friend Anna has turned up to wonder what is going on, and after investigating the family have realized that they are part of a secret cult that tortures young women. When the cult gets hold of Anna, we find that Anna might be in store for some traumatizing visions.
Leucémie qui vit ses derniers instants. Le mal rend là, atteinte de maladies rares, n'est plus que souffrant. 9 heures d'agonie avant que les pompiers ne la libèrent.
So this was one of those films that was part of the new wave of French extremity movies, which basically meant you were going to see explicit scenes of rape and violence and gore and all of those video nasties stuff. So of course in 2008 I was right in there. You know, there was films like High Tension or Switchblade Romance or Frontiers, and then you get a film like Martyrs. And I remember seeing Martyrs, and after I'd finished watching Martyrs, I was like, okay, I think I'm done with French cinema for a very long time. If at the very least, I don't think I ever want to watch Martyrs ever again. And I was quite shocked. And, well, surprised to see this come in as a Patreon request.
Yes.
And I was like, oh no. Like, this is just one of those films I don't ever want to see again. It's haunted me this entire time. And I was glad to see that I was not alone. There was a lot of other people that felt the exact same way about Martyrs.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, the director of this film was suffering from clinical depression when he wrote the script for this film.
Really? That's a shock.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it completely makes sense. This completely nihilistic, depressed tone that this film will drag you into.
Yeah.
And it is unrelenting in that. But I will say this director obviously has overcome his depression. I'd imagine and hope so. Hopefully this film, he got it out of his system.
Yeah.
Because a few years later he went on to do The Tall Man with Jessica Biel, which was the Slender Man movie.
Oh, right.
Which was absolutely terrible.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was like, well, maybe he probably... But that's the same time. This guy was also tapped to make a Hellraiser reboot. Clive Barker was like, I've seen his Martyrs movie. He is the man to make a Hellraiser film. And of course, Martyrs has been compared to Hellraiser amongst Hostel and Saw and other things. So I was like, watching this, I'm like, yeah, he can do skin suits very well. So yeah, give him Hellraiser. But apparently he came over to Hollywood. He was like, I'll make Hellraiser. And they went, great, we want a teen slasher film with Pinhead in it. And he said, no, Hellraiser's about these gay, bondage scene. And the studio went, no, well, we want a teen-friendly horror movie about Hellraiser, and he went, I quit.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank God for that as well. I was like, at least he kept to his guns,
I wonder which Hellraiser that was around about. Do you think it was Deader or
no? It would have been.
Game,
it would have been before the remake that we got.
Oh right,
it would have been that one.
So
I guess
after Revelations.
Oh, it was after all the
Judgment.
others.
Oh,
yeah.
thank.
Actually, no. I don't know. The Hellraiser timeline, ownership rights. I don't know.
Yeah. This was my first time. I was a Martyrs virgin when I walked into this one. And I'll be honest, Gary and I had been putting it off for a couple of weeks because we were building ourselves up for it. I'd heard about this film. And like Gary said, it'd come out at the time when, France was doing extreme movies. The Japanese had already done extreme movies before them. And we'd had the video nasty horror movies during the 80s and 90s. And so all of a sudden France comes along and goes, here are these movies with some really violent and gory sequences. And I'm like, holy Jesus Christ, I didn't know you could get away with this. I, like Gary, not like Gary, I'd wikied. Martyrs. Gary had actually watched it. I'd wicked it, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I don't feel the.
It's the first time where I feel like I should have wikied it and been like, I'm good.
Well, yeah. Well, that's it. Like, people had been saying, oh, Ian, you like gory movies, you like violence, you like this, you like that. Watch Martyrs. And I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, because it's really gory, it's really violent. Well, what's the story? I don't know. I was like, what do you mean you don't? And because people I'd spoken to or what I'd heard of, they were so heavily focused on the sequences that had made the film memorable. I was like, you know what? I'm good.
You know what? It's almost like therapy, where
Yes.
you have to talk about what you've seen
Yeah,
understand it,
Yeah.
to cleanse yourself, a bit of catharsis.
But this is the thing. I'd spent years, every now and again I might go, I've never seen Martyrs. I'm sure I've wicked it. Go back, read it and go, yeah, I'm good. And I just kept reading it. And then through film, horror movies that we've reviewed, and years building up for it, I was like, okay, let's go.
Right.
I'm ready for Martyrs now. Gary is terrified and telling me he doesn't want to do it. So I need to watch it now.
Right. Well, I'm just going to say as well, for the purposes of this review, don't expect to see all of the graphic content that's in this film.
No.
YouTube is tightening that noose on the content that we are allowed to show on this channel. So you're going to probably see still images, blurred out images, or no images at all, unfortunately.
I'll just describe it to you. I've got a pretty good memory with film.
I was thinking, actually, what we'll probably do is just cut to a black screen and play the audio, and it'll probably be even worse.
Yeah, and I'll talk over it, because literally right off the start, this movie starts really well with a young girl running down the road in her underwear in an industrial estate, looking like she has
just seen Martyrs. Yeah,
exactly.
This is your chance to get out now.
That's it. And so immediately the film has set it up for me that this is going to be a traumatizing experience.
Yep.
And I will say right off the bat, I really did like this director's eye. The way he could, get what he wanted right in the center of the camera so that your focus was there, but you're really not seeing much. Your imagination is doing a lot. Like I said, with this girl running down the street, I don't know what she's been through, but my mind has just gone off in all directions, and the film's not even started yet. We realize it's 1971 and she's been taken to a children's hospital or an orphanage. I'm not entirely sure. She's been taken to a place to be kind of taken care of while we're watching a journalist or an investigator.
It's like a true crime documentary play out.
Like that, because we don't actually find out who he is. He just goes to this place over the credits and starts to tell us what the girl had told them when they had come here, what was going on.
We'll find out that the girl was called Lucy, that she's not told anybody about her captors. When they turned up at the location that she mentioned, there was nobody there. There was a mattress, so they're like, okay, so this is probably where she slept. But we don't know how long she was held captive for.
There was that chair.
Yeah, that horrible chair.
That chair.
And then it cuts back to her in the orphanage, and we see that she's got no friends, she doesn't talk to many people, but she soon develops this friendship with another young girl called Anna. And they would, I presume, become like lifelong friends from that point on.
Oh, Anna starts to cut her hair just like Lucy immediately. She just kind of bonds with her and she just wants to take care of Lucy. So immediately I was like, I started to really like Anna.
Yes.
Because she's trying to take care of this girl.
She's a supporting new friend.
Yeah.
And then we have this like supernatural nightmare sequence where Lucy is being terrorized by a monster in the orphanage, and the whole door and the chair being blasted open and her hiding under the covers. It's like, okay, so whatever she escaped from, whatever monster did that to her, is still after her.
The way it sits on the edge of the bed and you just see its eyes, I was like, oh my God, this is... I know people massively focused on the violence and stuff like that, and I'm sure we're going to get to it, but there are certain shots, like this silhouetted character, I was like, oh my God, that's unsettling.
Yeah.
And then we cut to a young girl running through a house.
Screaming and panicking again. I was like, oh my God, no,
Jesus,
give me a break.
But it turns out that she's just having fun with her brother. and she's at home with her mum, with her dad, and the four of them go to the breakfast table and they're having breakfast, and it's a really nice set-up conversation. And I was so ready, because like I said, I've wikied this like 4 times. I'm like, oh, you motherfuckers are gonna get it. You're gonna get it so bad. But for anybody who just sat down to watch
Lucy's at the door with a shotgun.
they must have shit.
Yeah. I mean, you see the dad, he opens the door and he's like, oh, that's a shot.
Blam.
Blasted. And he goes flying across the kitchen as he hits the counter on the other side.
Yeah.
And Lucy just walks in, reloading the shotgun. Hey, Mom. Bam. She turns to the boy and she's just like, do you know what your parents did? And he just sits there with this look of confusion, panic, and he shrugs and he's blasted.
Yeah.
And the other girl, she's run upstairs and she's hidden under the parents' bed. And Lucy gets on the bed, she blasts the mattress. And the girl gets up to run and you're kind of rooting for her to get away. Bam, she's gone as well. Ah, wow. Okay, and that all played out in like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
But it was intense. It was graphic.
Yeah.
It was real. It was raw. It was the way the bodies hit the ground. Now, yeah, granted, when the dad, he's a big guy, but when he gets blasted, he goes flying almost to a comical effect.
Yeah.
But it's the way the camera's angled, the way it's positioned, and the way the events play out. There's really no music.
No.
It just feels like we've just watched this innocent family get decimated.
It's shock. I'll admit, if you're watching this, you're immediately in shock. Like, you may laugh at it and go, that was funny. If you just play it off and have a really good time over that, you might need to see a psychologist. Because, like, Lucy, after 15 years, has found out this information that this is this mum and dad are the man and woman who tortured her. She is fully convinced about that, and she's killed their children because that's what they made her do. And you're sat there, you're the audience member, you don't know any different. You think that this is an innocent family at this stage. So immediately you're like, she is the bad girl. Mylène Jampanoï, I think it's pronounced. Like I said, my French isn't that great. She was brilliant as Lucy, this traumatized girl who is just... She's still being traumatized by the thing that we'd seen at the end of her bed when she was a little girl. And we'll get to that. There's a full-on explanation for that. But her contacting Anna, played by Morjana Alaoui, I think she's called. Anna is now like, where are you? What are you doing? I'm coming to you. I'm going to help you. But at the same time, she doesn't know at this stage of how bad it is.
She really doesn't. Now, I've got first thing I want to ask you is when she's got the shotgun pointed at the son, do you think he knew what his parents were up to or not?
Mate, I have been mulling this movie over for like 5 days.
I'm not surprised.
I watched it.
I'm not surprised.
And I have gone through every scenario in my head where the daughter and the son in on it. Did they have no idea? Is it like a society thing where they go upstairs at the end of the day and kind of all mingle and shunt into each other? I don't fucking know. I kind of dwelled to the side that after Anna had escaped, Mum and Dad have had to be moved, and with the people they know, the family is just a facade. It's a cover. Son and daughter didn't know. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I lean more towards the they don't know.
Right.
But at the same time, there's the entranceway to what we'll get to later is not exactly discreet.
No, it's not.
So they would stumble upon it at some point, probably.
And they look pretty rich as well. This family got some money, so I wouldn't put it past that they are part of the elite, like the Eyes Wide Shut group.
Right. Okay, so to get back to where we are in the film, anyway, is the fact that this is what catches me out, and I don't know. Maybe I need to fill in the gaps myself.
Okay, yeah.
It's the fact that we see Anna, she's eating a sandwich, and a payphone rings, and she throws her sandwich on the floor and runs for the payphone. I'm like, Lucy's just called Anna, but she's not called her, she's called a payphone somewhere. That Anna just happens to be there.
Yeah.
So, but like how... It's the timing of how long has Anna been waiting by that payphone in her car?
Long enough to get hungry to eat a sandwich.
It
and
just
maybe Lucy had already contacted her before she got
that's
to the
what I'm
house.
thinking. That's what I
and
have to
said,
fill in the gaps.
I'm going to
but-
call you at a payphone here.
Yeah.
You know, meet me there. I don't know because they don't explain it. Like Gary said, literally Lucy calls Anna, and Anna is in the car park waiting, and then she does just turn up at the house. I'm very surprised, like for me, how long they stay at the house for. The rest of the first hour of this movie is now just at this house with Anna and Lucy. We don't go anywhere else, really.
That's right, yeah.
You know, and I was really surprised by that. The police don't really turn up like 2 minutes later. It's not like Hollywood. No other family seem to come up. It's just Lucy and Anna in this house somewhere, and you know, Anna comes across the bodies and she's in shock, but you realise that she actually is in love with Lucy.
Yes.
Lucy loves Anna for helping her and being a friend, but Anna loves.
Yeah,
loves
there's
her.
a sequence where she goes to kiss her in the bathroom next to the corpses. And Lucy's like, get away from me. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is like, I mean, that is actually an undercurrent of the entire film, this unrequited love that Anna has. And Anna has literally sacrificed a lot for Lucy
it feels
ever
that.
since she kind of started looking after her in the orphanage.
Yeah.
To the point that, I mean, she throws her sandwich away. You've got to really love someone to throw your sandwich away to answer the phone for them.
Yeah. I love people. I ain't throwing that sandwich.
No, right?
You know, I'm finishing it before I move these bodies.
So even though it's not a major part of the film, it's a layer that's kind of important, and it does mean, like, this film, it's got a reputation of being gory and all of that.
Yeah.
But there are some thematic character layers in there that pause for thought and adds to the trauma of everything that's going on as well, and also helps you understand the mindset of Anna, that she is willing to do absolutely anything for Lucy, including bury the bodies of this family, even though she believes that Lucy might actually be wrong and has just murdered all these people. But because she loves her, she's going to help her get away with it. Even though she's leaving fingerprints everywhere.
Oh, God, yeah, that was my thing as well. I'm thinking, you ain't cleaning all this fucking blood up. No way. And if you are, you'd have to bleach absolutely everything. How long's the police going to be? Jesus, nobody heard the gunplay. So I kind of got a little detached with how realistic it was. But at the same time, the director's keeping the pace going so well that my focus is heavily on Anna and Lucy. I kind of want them to get away. I kind of want them to be right as well. Because it starts to be revealed to you that the crazy bed end monster thing that we've been seeing is still following Lucy, and it's there in the house with them, but it's not real. It's Lucy's imagination.
Yeah. Now, at first, we're still not quite sure what it is, because Lucy's wandering around. She's got blood on her hands from the victims, and she's like, look, I killed them.
Yeah.
You don't have to hurt me anymore. You don't have to worry about them anymore. I killed them for us.
Like appeasing
And we
the
do
ghosts.
actually then flash back to Lucy as a little girl before the opening shot of the film, where she ends up breaking the ankle of her captor, and that's how she managed to escape. But before she did, she heard somebody else wailing and crying, and she went to investigate, and it's this other woman who's been chained up and sensory deprived, but Lucy's in no state to help her, so then she runs, and that's where the film starts.
Yeah.
So we now find out that she has been haunted by survivor's guilt in a way as well, and some, added to the trauma that she couldn't help this person. That person was never seen again, I imagine. She's never mentioned, other than this spectre that is now turning up and hurting her.
Yeah.
And then we find out that the mum is still alive.
Oh, God,
so I was like, well, maybe that's why the monster, the demon, is still harassing Lucy, because the job's not done yet.
Yeah.
And Anna is keeping it quiet from Lucy that the mum's still alive, as she's trying to get her out of the house.
Yes.
And so Lucy grabs the meat tenderizer and, well, bashes her brains in.
Yeah, it's hammer time.
Oh, God.
I was really going with the movie at this point. I was really surprised myself because, like I said, I'm fully believing that Lucy has lost it. Like, she is seeing spectral, ghost-like, wraith-like women, and that the actress doing that role as well.
Oh, she's incredible.
She was incredible. The way she moved around, the way her eyes looked, and things like that. But on top of that, with the mum still being alive and being traumatized, like part of me was just like, oh my God, I'm really hoping she's not innocent, because Jesus Christ, she's in a lot of pain. Her whole family's dead. And then obviously Lucy grabs that hammer and just bashes her head in. And so the film has completely shocked you to this point. Like what? We're 35, 40 minutes into the movie. And it's just like, you're not entirely sure where Lucy is, or what Anna's thinking, or where the movie is going. Because even though there's lots of gore and violence and there's blood everywhere, the camera doesn't linger on it long enough for you to go, oh yeah, that's fake blood and gore.
Right.
You know, like a lot of horror movies do. Some movies haven't got a very good storyline, so they focus on the horror and gore so much that that's all you remember and go, oh yeah, I can see it's fake. In Martyrs, the camera is moving so much and we're so invested with some of the characters and what they're doing that when you see just blood smear on the wall, you're like, oh God, yeah, there's dead bodies all over the place.
Right.
And like Gary said, we've got Anna just trying to bury the bodies and get rid of them in the pit in the back garden.
That's convenient, isn't it?
Yeah. Lucy ends up having another fight, I think she does, with
the demon.
The demon, and ends up throwing herself out of the window.
That's right. That's after she's... again, we're not going to be able to show this, but she uses a butterfly knife or something?
A razor blade, I think it is.
And she cuts, from shoulder to wrist, both sides.
Yeah.
And then, she runs through the window, and then she turns around and she cuts her throat.
Yeah.
And she dies.
Yeah.
And of course, Anna is absolutely devastated. She has failed, this woman that she absolutely loves and adores. And so she is defeated, essentially, as well. And it's crushing. It is depressing. It is so damn sad.
It is.
Because we know that she has been tortured her entire life. She's been dealing with these demons and this trauma.
Yeah.
And she's taken her own life. And it's like, it's really bleak and horrible.
It is. And what's even worse is now Anna has been left to deal with this whole situation. She's lost her one love, and she's got her on the sofa, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She's cleaning her face, wrapped her up. She's not knowing what to do. She calls
her mum.
She calls her mum. You know, somebody like we get from the mum over the phone that they haven't spoken for ages, or that the only time Anna calls her is when she's after someone, but now she really just needs to hear her voice. But something knocks the hammer through the glass and shows that there's a secret entrance. Something like it's honestly paranormal, like where the hammer kind of hits the glass and then it properly falls to lure Anna over, and Anna actually puts the phone down on her mum because she's found the fucking secret entrance to the basement. And you're like, nah guys, don't do this. Don't tell me there's actually a secret. Oh yeah, there is. There's a secret torture basement cell thing underneath this house.
And it's at this point that any rational thinking person would be like, well, I think it's time to go home now.
No, well, me, I was like, well, I'm glad our family got it.
Well, yeah. Because now she believes Lucy was right in telling her about this torture and that this family was the ones responsible. And so Anna's explores this dungeon. She sees these contraptions. She sees this art gallery.
Yeah, we can't show these pictures.
We could probably show these.
If those pictures are real, goddamn, those people.
I don't think they're real. I think they were made for the film.
I'm hoping so, because if they were, man, if those are real people, damn.
Yeah. I mean,
damn.
I'm stumbling on words. The horrible thing is that we have seen pictures like that are real. So it's no stretch of the imagination when you see them there. They are those horrifying images. But we'd also we see the chain rattle. She follows the chain with her light. The chain. And we find this lady in this horrible VR headset,
Yeah.
It's absolutely nailed into her head. It is absolutely horrible. And she's, emaciated and she's scarred all over. And we probably can't show this anyway. But she ends up trying to save her and take her out of the dungeon upstairs. We watch her bathe her. We watch her look at. There is one moment where I did kind of laugh a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
And that's because when Anna's turned up, she's always ran with her paramedic's bag and she's there. She's trying to patch up the wounds. And she comes over to this lady who is scarred all over, and she's like,
I can't help you.
Where do I start?
Where do I start?
You know what? A bath. That's what it is.
And that's the thing. I'm sat there, I'm thinking, like, how do you even call an ambulance at this stage?
Why are you still in the house? Like,
yeah, well,
get out!
Where else is she going to go?
Anywhere. She's got a car outside. Get her in the car and go. Just do not be here anymore.
Okay.
It's one of those things where I'm like, I just keep asking, like, why are you still here? Why are you still here? And on the second viewing, I'm still like, get out now, please. I want an alternate ending.
Which is great, because that's what you really want from a horror movie. We can list all of the fun movies that we've switched our brains off and watched that call themselves a horror movie. But this movie is telling you and making you feel the trauma and the horror and the grotesque stuff that you were supposed to feel when you see it. And when she attempts to take that headgear off that woman, Jesus Christ, I've got to give, I didn't look it up, but I've got to give the person who did the practical effects an applause. Because,
hell yeah.
Oh my God. I don't believe there's any CGI in the movie. There's no CGI. It's all practical effects. I honestly believe, and I know I look stupid, I honestly believe that this was a woman with a thing nailed to her head. Because, Jesus, they take this thing off and you kind of see the skin kind of peel away, or her scalp, and so she's got to cover it quickly with the head mask.
Well, it's the fact that she's spitting blood out everywhere. It's the fact that she's been blinded for so long as well, so any kind of light is going to hurt her eyes, so she's trying to keep her ready to get used to seeing light or seeing anything again. And it is horrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. And I'm just going on a tangent of what you said about making it look real. Is that I think it may have been taken a little bit out of context, but the two actresses, when this film came out, both in interviews had apparently said, I will never, ever work with Pascal as a director ever again. It was the most grueling, torturous, inhumane experience I've ever had working in my life, and I will never work with him again. It's just like, oh, damn.
So, we didn't actually get the name of the actress who played that woman in the basement then.
Well, it's probably in the credits list, but
we might have to see if she's still alive.
Now, the thing is, though, I think it's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah, okay, they had... I mean, apparently the actress playing Anna was had like 6 weeks in bed after the film after breaking 3 bones in her body.
Oh,
so they did a lot of their own stunts. You know, it's So they pushed themselves to the limit to fulfill the role that they were in, and so they knew the job, they knew the character they were playing, they knew what they were going to be doing. But the thing is, I've also then watched the making of the film, and I've also seen that the director and the actresses have turned up at interviews at conventions and stuff and talked. So it's not like they hate each other or anything.
Right, okay,
it's just that the experience on making this film was enough for them to go, I don't want to ever do that again.
Oh, totally.
So,
I mean...
I don't think like the director actually abused them or anything.
No, but with the source material and the fact, like, if you were having to do these sequences over and like, even take something as easy as moving the family's bodies, if those were actual real actors and actresses that they were constantly moving, and you filmed that sequence like 5 or 6 times, you're going to get tired.
They started filming at like 7 in the morning and finished filming at 9 at night, and for the most part they're either crying or screaming or doing or reacting to something horrific. So it can take a toll on you, I guess.
And getting back to the movie, Anna is trying to take care of this woman, but this woman is starting to go crazy because, well, obviously she's been tortured for God knows how long. And she starts to really self-harm herself, much like Lucy had done. And so Anna is trying to save her. And then all of a sudden, this woman, this crazy woman, is shot in the face. And the elite cleaning crew turn up. And I was like I said, I knew where it's going. I've read the plot like 3 times, but I was still like, what the fuck is this shit? These people come in, they're methodical, they know what they're doing. And they are led by Mademoiselle, played by Catherine Bégin, who... Like, I've not seen her in, I can't think of seeing her in anything else, but she, at this point, this movie is an hour and a half long, hour and 39 minutes, and this first hour 5 minutes has been the most intense hour and 5 minutes I think I have had in the last couple of years.
When you see these people turn up, you're like, oh, it's over.
I'm like, it's over for Anna. But this Mademoiselle lady, it wasn't even like a lull. It was a moment where she took the audience that had been along with Anna. You have no idea what's going on. Everything's just been jumbled messages and all this. And she basically just breaks it down and explains to you that she is kind of part or the head of some kind of elite unit of people who kidnap young women and torture and abuse and beat. I don't think they raped them. I mean, it wasn't brought up. But they basically keep pushing people to the point, and we see from the pictures as well that were in the basement, that when people have reached that moment just before they're about to die, where they've been tortured or traumatized, they will see something, and all these people have the same look.
Yeah.
And so Mademoiselle is like, we're attempting to do it. That's what they were attempting to do with Lucy. That's what this family were doing with this other person in the basement. And now that's what we're going to do with you now, Anna.
Then why did she have a great big brace all over her eyes so that they couldn't see her eyes to know if she had reached the transcendental state that they were looking for?
Maybe they...
Now, it's explained why they put it on there, and it's because she hallucinates like all of the other failed test subjects, that she sees insects all over her body, which is why we saw her trying to cut her arm off and rubbing her face on the wall to get rid of the bugs.
And kind of explains the same thing with Lucy, where Lucy saw the spirit of the woman.
Exactly, well. But it just doesn't make sense then. I'm like, well, clearly... it's a failed experiment. I feel horrible saying this about a person. It's a failed experiment, so why keep her alive?
Bruh, they just been torturing this woman for God knows how long. They weren't planning on letting her go at any point.
Well, no, but so why do they keep her alive?
Because they don't want to murder her. They want to keep her alive and torture. Dude, do you want me to try to work? I don't know why these people are stapling things to the top of people's head. I don't even know what Mademoiselle really wants to find at the end of the freaking torture rainbow. I'm along this ride with you. Like, yeah, maybe the director was just like, maybe they should have killed them, but it's better. It plays into a better scene for Anna to find this woman.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Mademoiselle, she literally explains to Anna about the whole martyrdom and their whole purpose.
Yes.
They want to see and pierce beyond the veil into an other dimension, essentially the afterlife.
So she cuckoo. She like...
and this has been their life's work.
Yes.
And guess what, Anna? You're up next.
You're up next.
Here comes the next half an hour of this movie, and boy, oh boy, like, if you weren't ready for this after the build-up you've already had, you're still not.
You are still not. And personally, I wasn't fully ready to go through. What was really surprising was that the new man and woman that they sent in were very much like the man and woman who had done the shit to Lucy, the family we'd seen. And I was like, oh, so these people are just being bred to do this. This is their life. They are part of this unit. And like I said, once again, got to give it to the director how he didn't stay focused on the horrible shit that was going on. Yes, we're seeing it, and yes, we're hating it, but like, I like the way that when the woman came down to feed Anna, we never really saw her face.
That's right, yeah.
We didn't need to. The focus was on Anna. We had to kind of see the trauma that Anna was going through. We saw the face of the man come down, and we hated him. Yeah. You know, all the stuff he started to do. And he beats on Anna so goddamn horribly. There were a couple of times, I won't lie, I wanted to turn the movie off and just go, you know what, I'm good. I'm fucking done. I'm not even going to recommend it. It's not. But I every time, if I've sat through fucking Tekken 2, I can sit through Martyrs. If I can sit through the entire Hellraiser franchise and Saw movies, and I can sit through the goddamn Collector and Terrifier, I can do Martyrs. And I'm so glad I did, because there's a shot where the guy has Anna up against the wall, but you see his back. The camera's behind him. I don't know even if we can really show it. I might not for long. But he's just punching her in the face, and you hear it. But you don't see Anna.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I thought it was so well filmed that my imagination is, like I said at the start of the movie, my mind is doing all the work that the movie does. The next sequence, Anna is there, fully black eyes, bruised face.
They've shaved her head.
Shaved her hair, makeup. You know, it's makeup. Hopefully it's makeup.
Oh, it is.
I'm
it's
really
very
hoping
good
Anna,
makeup.
yeah.
Oh, dear. And well, this is all building up to the moment, I suppose, where they pick her up and they cart her out the back. And
she's kind of got to that stage, isn't she?
Actually, there is an important kind of... I think it's an important moment, actually, just before that, where she is at breaking point and she starts to hallucinate.
Yeah.
Lucy, of course, it's the love of her life. And Lucy and Anna, they kind of like will be there for each other when the time comes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of then... she's already had something to fight for, but that was taken from her, but then it's come back. Actually, it is now a love that's come back to her in a way, in her hallucination, which has given her the strength to go beyond.
That's it.
And become a martyr like the cult are looking for, because they then put her in that machine, and we don't see it happen, but we hear the scissors, and then, we see a skinless Anna. But they kept her face.
Oh God, yeah,
that's even more horrifying.
That's even more horrifying. Yeah, it's not like she'd given up at this point. I mean, I don't even know if you could at this point, but she had reached that level that the film was going to. She was reaching to pierce the veil, I suppose, and she has. The man and woman go down to see her, and she's just glaring off. She's just away with the fairies. And they contact Mademoiselle, and Mademoiselle comes back, and she goes up to Anna, and Anna kind of whispers something to her. We don't hear it. We just see lips move, and Mademoiselle hear it. And then
we also have Mademoiselle's kind of reaction to it, which is all we really get in terms of how she's reacting as to what she may have been said.
I didn't really like. Obviously, I know how she reacts, but I didn't see a look on her face. Like, she didn't look surprised.
It's a very minimal performance, which is great because you don't want to give anything away.
Oh, totally, yeah.
But it wasn't the look of elation.
True, yeah, that is true.
Because I think that would be really hard to hide. But I think she swallowed down some serious fear. About what Anna may have been telling her.
Yeah. And Mademoiselle kind of gets the whole cult, I suppose, together. They all start turning up in their cars, all in their kind of black suits and whatnot. And her butler, or one of her close friends, comes to find her because, he announces to the elite group, like, we have found what we have been looking for. We have the answer. Luckily, we had Anna. She was special, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes to find Mademoiselle, and she's sat in the bathroom, and he asks her, like, did you get the answer that you wanted? And she's like, yes. And she says to him, what do you think's beyond the veil? And he's like, I don't know. I'm still trying to search. And she's like, well, was it like good luck or something? And then blows her brains out.
No, she says, keep doubting.
Keep doubting.
I can still hear it in my mind. All these years later, keep doubting. Bam!
Blam!
Doutez, Etienne.
And then last sequence we have is of Anna kind of
with Lucy as children. Oh no, we have that close up. Yeah, that still image.
Yeah, the still image
of her in the martyrdom kind of state.
Yeah, going
and
down
then it does cut to, I guess, a happy childhood memory.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe that's the film's way of saying that she has now gone to her afterlife and she now is with Lucy again.
Yeah. Or maybe it's still trying to traumatize you to go, hey, look, there were two little innocent little girls when they were before they fucking went to this family's house and did all that horrible shit.
It's a very ambiguous ending.
Totally.
In terms of not knowing what the keep doubting means, and also what Anna's revelation was to Mademoiselle in her, I guess, trip to the afterlife and back.
Yeah.
Or whether she was there and still relating it. I don't know.
Like, part of me, like you said with the questions earlier, part of me, like, I like to play with the idea that Mademoiselle went down and Anna's just like, fuck you, bitch, there's nothing.
Right.
You've just done nothing but torture women, or fuck you, bitch, you wait. When you get to the other side, because I've seen it, we're going to ram so many coconuts up your anus, you're going to be screaming. I mean, I don't really know. It was in French, and I don't know French.
Then, if she did say that, why would she speed up that process and kill herself?
Why not? Would you like to live with the fear that when you do die, they are waiting for you?
Well, I mean, no. So in that case, you'd be like, okay, so if I'm going to get punished in the afterlife for the things that I've done, I've got time to repent. I've got time to redeem. Yeah, I know it's a stretch. I know.
Stretch.
I know.
Stretch. You have tortured unknown amounts of women.
I know. There's no redeeming it.
No.
But if you were that person that had done that, you might think, I might try.
Oh, totally. You would.
Instead of going
because you are mental. Right. If you think, I've been torturing hundreds of thousands of young women over a 50-year period for all this time that has absolutely led to absolutely nothing. And I have wasted millions of pounds and encouraged other people to do it as well. Oh, damn, I really need to change my ways. I'm going to head straight down to the paper shop tomorrow and start giving out free papers to people.
It would be a good reason for her to end her own life if she found out from Anna that there is nothing. That she reached this higher state, but there was still nothing.
There was nothing.
There was nothing at the end of life.
Yeah.
And so that meant all of Mademoiselle's life's work was for nothing.
Yeah,
and so destroying her entire belief system and everything would be enough to get her out of there.
My question for you again is, why rush that purpose along? If you already know that there is nothing on the other side, why not just fucking carry on? You've been doing it for 50 years. Nobody stopped you. Screw it. It's, like I said, for me, the revelation to Mademoiselle is so soul-crushing for her that the fear or the trauma or the guilt of what she has been doing or what she has done is just so much. Maybe on a push, she has found the secret and now she's like, haha, fuckers, blam.
I'm not telling you, keep looking.
Go. But like you said, it's the keep doubting.
Yeah.
It's the... What does that mean? I don't know. She was speaking French for me. So when the film was over, I was like, beep, I'm good.
Right. Now,
I've done it.
I kind of like to think of it myself. My interpretation is it's kind of like a Lovecraftian ending where in the Lovecraft universe, when you have knowledge of things that you're not supposed to know, it will drive you mad. And you will, as in most Lovecraftian stories, the protagonists don't come out of it with their sanity intact.
True, yeah.
And they usually end themselves.
With suicide,
and so, for me, it was the truth that was revealed to her was... it forced her to lose the will to live in the knowledge of what she's gained. It's forbidden knowledge in a way.
Yeah.
And so it was too much for the human brain to understand without going through the process that Anna's been through.
Yeah.
So, and that's why she's like, well, I can't ever achieve it. So my mind is blown from these revelations. I can't live with it. So
literally,
that's why I keep
her
doubting.
mind is blown.
Right, yeah. Whee! Oh, God, I don't want to keep talking about Mars, Ian. Please tell me your favourite scenes.
I had quite a few favourite
God.
sequences. I mean, I've got to give it to the two actresses. The whole sequence from when she turns up at the beginning, blowing the family away with the double-barrel shotgun was absolutely traumatizing. All the way up until Anna turns up and then the two of them kind of working together, I suppose, in this house, trying to deal with it. The movie had tried to play with the idea that Lucy was mental and that it was all in her head. Even though that I kind of knew it wasn't, it was played so well that, like I said, those sequences with the apparition, when it comes down the stairs towards her and things like that, and like Anna can't see it but Lucy can, and Lucy's trying to tell Anna that it's not her hurting herself and things like that. It was absolutely traumatizing, but it was great. It was brilliantly filmed, and it didn't linger so much on the horrible crap that was going on that it turned me off. I liked the psychological aspect of this movie. I liked the sequence where Mademoiselle turned up, and even though I hated the bitch and wanted her to die right there and then, her explanation of why they are doing this, I couldn't help but go, okay, yeah, I get it. Because most mental people do have an explanation of why they do these horrible things to people, and I suppose you're supposed to go, okay, I get it, you're sick in the fucking head. But then maybe she did actually push Anna to the point and let her see something. And that goddamn skin suit sequence, that is a hell of a special effect. Like, you can talk about your Terrifier, you can talk about your Collector, but when you see that woman's face and she's kind of hung up there, oh my God, you just want to vomit in a bucket.
Yep.
The chain sequence, when Anna goes in the basement and finds a woman, even before you see the woman, when the chain gets pulled, oh my God, it made me jump. I didn't want to see what was behind the wall, but I wanted to see what was behind the wall. And like I said, leading up to the sequence where she ends up putting her in the bath and she's trying to remove those rivets out of her head and take the face mask off, I didn't want her to. I wanted to turn that movie off and run back to bed. But you made me watch it, and I watched it, and it was pretty good well filmed sequence. I liked it. The bed punching sequence. I hate violence on women. In fact, I hate violence on anybody. But like, I can't deny it was just really well filmed. You know, the director wanted you to experience something, but couldn't show you without having his film kind of banned forever. And it just isolating the guy in the camera shot and just having him hit with the noise effect was just great. I liked kind of like the sequence before that. You know, Anna was being traumatized, tortured for kind of ages, but they weren't doing anything. They were leaving her. They were leaving her for just ages. There was just time jumps that you just knew were long spaces of time. And like, what was it? She sat in the chair and she pees herself and she's hating herself for doing it, but she's really got no other choice. And so then when the time jumps, you're thinking, what else has she done? Has she pooed herself? What are they feeding her? What is that yellow shit?
Green or slop soup or something?
There was a piano sequence. She looked really like hell, but there was just piano playing, and it was just it wasn't like a lull in the movie. It was just like a quiet moment before the next horrible shit fucking happened. Gary, got any? You probably don't want to talk about any of them.
Not particularly, no. But I will say it's a very memorable sequence, and that is the absolute massacre of the family. 10 minutes into the film, we're just like established. Everybody's going about their business. Breakfast table, conversation, bickering, arguing, planning for the day, and then bam, 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 everyone's dead. It's dead. Like, oh, jeez.
Jesus.
Yeah. So yeah, and it happens in a very short space of time as well. So yeah, it's brutal, very brutal. The monster versus Lucy. You know, again, the creature effects, the makeup, the way the actress moved in that suit, it is haunting. And like, I mean, that's enough for its own horror movie, really.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Anna hallucinating Lucy just the moments before she does, become a martyr, I suppose.
Yeah.
It was a very sweet moment, and it's needed after all of the abuse that Anna's been through, and we as an audience have just been through as well.
Yeah.
I was like, but it just makes it even more sad and depressing at the same time. Oh man. I think the last memorable sequence is the lady, the bug lady, and the nails being pulled out of the brace on her head.
Yeah.
And the way that the blood pops everywhere. It's like, oh god, nah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to end it on a goof.
Yeah.
On a funny note of a memorable thing that happened. I mean, so we got all the bodies in this pit.
Yeah.
And I think it's the cult are dropping the mother in there.
Yeah.
And you'll see the son on the left of the frame brace himself as mum hits his back and rolls over. I was just like, that corpse braced itself. He's not really dead. He's faking. He probably knew about it the whole time as well.
I'm not really dead.
Go for a walk.
I got better.
Iain, do you recommend Martyrs?
I honestly cannot wholeheartedly recommend Martyrs, but I can recommend it for just a well-made horror movie. Like, I can't recommend it to anybody who doesn't like horror. There is nothing in here for you if you are scared of just the tiniest jump scare, the tiniest little bit of, imaginary blood or guts, then do not ever even look at the front cover of Martyrs. Like I said, if you're one of these people who's like, yeah, I love watching it, I watch Martyrs like every week, you need help. Okay? I'm talking to those people that are kind of in the middle, that they've heard of Martyrs, but they've never really brought themselves to watch it. You should, because, from a editing perspective, from a cinematography perspective, like we said, there's not much music, but the sound itself is very well inlaid into sequences that it just makes you feel uncomfortable. And so on a technical level, I can't fault the movie. There are some big piles of shit in horror, and I don't believe Martyrs is one of them. I do, though, like I said, recommend it for one watch, and that's it. Once it's done, it's done. It's not an Evil Dead. You can't go back and just keep having fun with it. There's no fun in it. It's bleak, it's depressing, it's dark, it's horrible, it's traumatizing, it's what other negative words am I thinking of? It's all of them. It's all of that. But on the same time, I can't deny it's good.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the similar position, really, where this is a very difficult film to recommend. And not because it's badly made, but but because it's very hard to watch and endure. And it's one of those films that will stay with you for a very, very long time after it's finished. Martyrs is brutal, violent, gory, unflinching, relentless, savage. It's hard to watch. It's bleak. It's hopeless. It's intense, shocking, disturbing, and filled with screaming, wailing, panicking, and complete helplessness. It also feels very raw, and by the film's end, you might just feel enlightened, bewildered, angry, or some combination of emotions as you ask yourself, what did I just watch? It's ambiguous in its ending, and it's open for interpretation, and it's actually masterfully done. It's not fantasy horror. It's uncomfortable and haunting, and it's layered with some meaning that helps separate this film from some generic torture porn, you know? So, in recommending, it's hard to do, as this is a very, very well-made film with terrific performances, outstanding practical effects, great gore, interesting characters, and a horror cult, and it's well-written, edited, and it's nicely shot. But I'd only recommend this to those that want to see extreme cinema, or if you wish to have your senses challenged with some seriously depressing subject matter. It's nearly impossible to call entertaining. So, yeah, the film's a near masterpiece for what it is, and I don't recommend it. They haven't finished being alive! Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Douter, Étienne.